And welcome in. Here we are. It is official visit weekend, the end of official visit weekend, the first one for the Baylor staff in over a year, and the first one of this recruiting cycle. There will be another one next weekend, but what a time to be alive, Brian. This has been a great time. I know just kind of following it and covering it, it's just such a great feeling to kind of feel like you're back to normal a little bit. And Baylor has a great group of kids on campus, a great group of recruits, highly rated guys who are under the radar. And this Baylor staff has just done a great job constructing this class. So I know for this particular video, we're going to cover some of the guys, just quickly go through them, talk a little bit about them, and just kind of give a quick rundown of things before recruits start coming in for interviews and studio time. And it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great day.
I agree. I mean, they've got 14 kids in this weekend. 8 of those kids are now committed. There were 7 going into the weekend. Possibility of another. So we're waiting on that. We'll get, 9 or 10 interviews here at the studio today with the recruits. If they can make it over, that they can't, just depending on the amount of time when their flights are leaving. But usually we can get most of these kids, and we're expecting some of the big-time kids to come in. There's quite a few 4-stars in this group. So that's something that is really exciting, and we'll get to see how the first official visit's in over a year, as you said, and which is, I mean, it's crazy to think. It's been over, so more or less over almost 2 years then.
Yeah, and I'm not counting the one in 2020. Like, I think Blake Shapen came on one by him, like an individual one. I'm not really counting that. I'm talking a full weekend where Dave Aranda and the staff really get an opportunity to recruit a full class.
Well, basically. It is David Aranda's first official visit.
Yeah.
I mean, what we saw yesterday, the crawfish boil that was going on for the officials. So I imagine all those guys are going to be sleepy from eating so much, like they always are. So that's going to be, it's good to see. But I mean, starting off, number one kid coming in, Zach Pyron coming in. That is, get the quarterback in, brought in 3 wide receivers with him. That's going to be his main targets.
Yeah, 3 wide receivers and 2 tight ends.
Possibly 3 tight ends.
And along with 2, I would say, offensive weapons in
Correct.
Major Everhart and Kyan Roberts today. So, I mean, a lot of offense brought in this weekend, and also 2 offensive linemen. So, Pyron has kind of been a guy who's spearheaded their recruiting effort from a recruit perspective. He's done a great job at recruiting these guys and just kind of being just a really good leader of this class, and we've seen him blow up a little bit on the recruiting trail, which is absolutely fair and something that should have happened a long time ago, but people are finally getting a chance to see him.
Yeah.
People don't talk about COVID affecting a commit very often, but COVID affected him, I would say, his recruitment.
I would agree.
3-time state champion, going for a 4th this year. I saw Pinson Valley got a couple more guys that are going over there to play with him. So very exciting time for Zach Pyron. So moving on to the next position, Belleville running back Richard Reese. We talked a little bit about him yesterday, but Ole Miss, SMU offered. His recruitment starting to pick up a little bit. Important weekend, just getting him on campus, and I think one that Baylor fans should be very excited about as he fits the style really well.
Oh, I agree. One cut, gone. He's also great lateral quickness, as we talked about yesterday. Somebody can get out there, and I'm really excited to see him when he gets developed in college.
Yeah, strong wide receiver group on campus as well. Rockwall Heath, wide receiver Jordan Neighbors, West Orange, Florida, wide receiver Jaden Gibson, big, tall, long, lanky, 6'6" prospect. Fort Bend Hightower, wide receiver Caleb Douglas as well. So those are the 3 wide receivers on campus. Athletic freak and Neighbors, probably the most well-rounded wide receiver in Jaden Gibson, just from an NFL perspective, and then a very raw talent in Caleb Douglas, a guy who hasn't played the position very long, but really looks like a guy who's poised to have a huge senior season.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys have major offers. There's no reaches in this 14. This is a huge class coming in here, for your first official visits. So that's going to be very interesting to see where Baylor stands after we get him over here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Tight end, the last offensive position we'll talk about. I'm going to go ahead and just talk about Kelsey Johnson and Cody Mladinka for now.
Okay.
Obviously, Kyan is very much in the mix to be a tight end, and I think that's ultimately probably where he'll start at, but we'll get to him at the end. Kelsey Johnson, Cody Mladinka, 2 guys who have been committed to this class for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey is, I think he's more H-back, 6'3", 230, probably going to be around 250 in college. Great hands, great speed, great athleticism, everything you're looking for in an H-back position. I think Cody Mladinka is also somebody, he's 6'5", 245 right now. He's probably going to be in the 260 range. He's going to be somebody like you expect when we see, from Iowa State's kind of guys right now. Somebody who can stretch the field a little bit, but he's going to go across the middle, make great catches. He's more in the Ben Sims mold.
Yeah.
He's a little faster than Ben in the same time period. I think Ben was in the 4.9 range laser, while Cody's in the 4.7, high 4.7 range. But very similar players. So that's something that, but again, great wingspan on him too.
Yeah, not quite as accomplished as a receiver in high school. Ben was lining up outside for San Antonio Clark, going up, making one-handed catches. So, but yes, Cody, a very good inline blocker too, which is a very underrated quality and something Jeff Grimes and staff really need in this offense. Offensive line, Timothy Dawn out of Camden Fairview in Arkansas, Bowie High School, Colton Price. Those are the two commits that are on campus. Bingham.
George Miley. That's how you say it. I mispronounced his name.
Okay.
I mispronounced his name yesterday and was corrected, so it is George Miley. So, I'm really excited about him and find out if he can get him over here and see what kind of visit he had. His being hosted by Apu is going to be interesting to find out. Then Austin Kowecki out of Frisco, Lebanon, which is my neck of the woods. And I get to see him play this year at some of the games I'll cover up there. So that's a solid group again.
Very solid. The two commits and then the two uncommitted prospects. Pretty good mix there to try to recruit those guys, obviously, to Baylor, two big-time targets. Obviously, the newest commit, Trey Emery. He was on campus. We talked about him extensively yesterday, but very high-end prospect. They were able to land this weekend, so already one recruit committed. And then after him, kind of two of the more talked about prospects, I'd say, in this class, Jeremy Patton and Jared Kerr. Jeremy Patton, linebacker out of Tenaha. Lexington safety, Jared Kerr, both right around that 4-star range.
Yes.
Two very much priority targets for this Baylor team.
Both those guys have blown up. I mean, they're smaller town kids, have blown up. Offers from everyone. Baylor's in the mix for both. From the final choice is probably the top 3 for both, if not top 2. So it's going to be really interesting. Again, we find out what they learned here on campus. What were they looking for? Is this the cultural fit for them? Is this the fit for them in the future? The coaching staff, if everything they've been told matches up, we could see more commitments out of, we'll find out pretty soon on these two guys, I think.
I'd agree. So getting down to the last 3, Broken Arrow athlete Marion Horn. Haven't gotten to, know a whole lot, very quiet recruitment, but he is on Baylor's campus for an official visit.
Yeah, it's 4-star kid out of Oklahoma. I mean, pulling that kid out of Oklahoma. Baylor's been hitting Oklahoma really well lately and pulling kids out. Like we talked about some Louisiana kids, they want to get out of Louisiana, they want to go to Oklahoma. Baylor's pretty close to it. So exceptional talent. Can they take it from OU and Oklahoma State? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Major Everhart out of Tascosa, another really good athlete, 10.3 time. A lot of speed.
He's pretty quick.
Yeah, he's just an absolute weapon.
Yeah, he's an athlete. Is he going to play corner? Is he going to play receiver? You get that kid on campus and let him find out. That's the kind of athlete he is. He's just an exceptionally fast athlete that can play anywhere.
And then finally, the highest ranked recruit in this class, Kyan Roberts Day, listed as an athlete, looks like possibly a tight end. Obviously, he could maybe play the defensive side, but I'm pretty locked in that he's probably going to be an offensive playmaker for this team at this point. Great athlete, great testing times, a guy who we talked about a little bit, comparing him to Kyle Pitts a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, better numbers athletically than Kyle Pitts. Which is pretty crazy.
Just not as big.
He's about 2 inches shorter. That's the only difference between him. But, I sort of look at him at, Clavon Chasen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think those are very similar athleticism numbers. But, Chasen was playing Jack in Dave Aranda's defense, while Kyan probably is going to play offense right now. But if he did make the switch, that's what you just pointed out to it. He's actually a little bigger than Clavon at this time, too, though, a little heavier. So if he's in the 240 range right now, which we think he is, you could see him go out there and, he's just dominant.
Yeah, very exciting weekend, a great weekend for this Baylor staff. They really put in a whole lot of effort and time to build this class up. And so stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of guys coming in for interviews, a lot of updated premium content. So you're definitely going to want to check out SicEm365 premium side for all of that. But for Brian and Grayson, you'll hear from us probably later today.
Oh, yeah.
But if not, just stay tuned in.